going to talk about the data talks KPI Prove It, transforming data into action-driven KPI. But before we start, let me introduce myself, Isha Taneja, CEO and co-founder of Complere Infosystem. Complere Infosystem is based out of India, working majorly in data and AI. I am also the editor-in-chief at the Executive Outlook, where we share the viewpoints of the industry experts through podcast and emails, and leading as a chair of Thai Women Chandigarh. Today's session is all about something I'm deeply passionate about: how businesses can stop drowning in data and start using it to drive decisions through effective KPIs. The goal: to transform your business operations using data-driven strategies. So data doesn't just talk, it performs. So before that, let me share with all of you what we are going to cover today. The role of data in today's business world, understanding what goes on in business operations, how data can optimize those operations, real world case scenarios, the tools and technologies powering this transformation, and finally, your questions. So, there are three things: strategy, data, and then comes the data strategy. What do we mean by strategy? Planning for a long term, 3 months, 6 months, yearly. And why strategy is important? Because it sets clear goals and objectives. Additionally, we have to make the technical adjustments according to the feedback or the new information. So now let's talk about data. So data helps us to see the picture of what is happening in our business. It's not just about collecting data, but understanding and interpreting it so we can uncover valuable insights and make informed decisions. And data strategy, which we can align so that we can take the decisions and measure the progress. With a well-defined data strategy, we can track our performance, identify key areas for improvement, and drive our business forward. So now let's discuss all of this with the help of a dashboard. So in this dashboard, there is analysis of different projects based upon certain KPIs. So let's discuss one KPI, that is budget. So if you'll take the example, in this example, let's take an example of a tech blogger. I can clearly see in this project, the actual cost is greater than the planned cost. So another KPI is the resource utilization. Here, we observe that there are 10 people assigned to the project, but all of them are not fully utilized, which might be a reason for a higher cost. So that means we have to take some steps in order to optimize the process for this project. So this is not only limited to risk. So let's take another example of operational inefficiencies. So operational inefficiency means doing more with less time, less money, and fewer mistakes. So data helps you identify bottleneck, reduce wastage, and allocate resources smartly. So where we can apply the operational efficiency? Supply chain, inventory management, customer service. So in supply chain, to optimize the supply chain operations, reducing time or lowering cost. In inventory, to reduce holding costs and improve cash flows. And in customer service, to streamline customer interactions and resolve issues more quickly. So let me showcase you with the help of one dashboard, that is the e-commerce dashboard. So in this dashboard, the analytics of customer behavior is shown. The customer added the product in the cart. After that, only 38% of the orders have been moved to the payment page, and further 89% order got confirmed. By understanding the analytics, we identify the patterns and we can create some strategies like offering discount coupons to improve the conversions. So let's talk about sales now. Sales are no longer guesswork. So data helps us understanding of the sales, how customer behavior is changing, how economic conditions affect different buying decisions, what pattern exists in purchasing, and most importantly, what your customers actually want. So let's understand this with the help of one dashboard. So here, this graph shows the forecasted sales versus the actual sales month by month comparison on two different platforms, Shopify and Amazon. So here the forecasted sales we have calculated by driving from the last year data multiplied by the X. That means you can compare if you have a target or you are going to forecast by X amount, but your business has made a revenue of Y amount, what's the difference, right? And how much you have to reach in order to go towards your goal. So now let's talk about the financials. Profitability isn't just about earning more, it's about managing with. The KPIs around the financial uh, areas are revenue, profit margin, cost management, and all allow you to understand the health of your business. One powerful financial dashboard can replace pages of Excel files and save hours of analytics. So now let's have an example of the financial dashboard. Here, this dashboard shows the key metrics of the business health, that is revenue, gross profit, net income, operating expenses, etc. From this dashboard, you can understand from where we are meeting the targets and by what percent. So now talk about the business operations. So business operations are the engine of your. So some of the business operations are marketing, sales, production, delivery, HR, finance, accounting, R&D, and management. For each business operation, every inefficiency costs you something. Something means productivity, money, customer satisfaction. So from inventory shortages to poor training, each pain point adds friction to your system. That's where operations based KPIs come into picture. So let's break it down into further details. So what I have done is I have captured few KPIs for each of the business area, business function. So let's take an example of the sales and marketing. So sales revenue growth, customer acquisition cost, marketing our lead conversion cost, conversion percentage. So these are some of the KPIs you can measure in sales and marketing. Here are other KPIs as per the department. So this is not a complete list of all the KPIs for the business function, but it gives you a very fair idea on how a particular operation is performed. So let's see how we can achieve this KPIs and how we can collect the data for this. So what I have done is I have break down into a certain process. So you can measure mostly 90% of the KPI through this process. So the first step is the data collection. That means you can collect the data from multiple sources like CRM, ERP, IoT devices. Then the second step is analytics. Analytics using the ML, statistics, or the dashboards. The third step is the process optimization, where you understand that this is the efficiency, this is the cost you are overall having, and how you can reduce the cost and how you can improve the efficiency. The fourth step is about the prediction, to forecast that okay, this is going to happen by understanding the historical data and by creating the algorithms. The fifth step is monitoring through the KPIs and alerts. So think of this as your data supply chain. Every single steps add value. We are going to discuss this process with the help of the case scenario. So let's explore a real world example to understand how data driven KPIs can transform underperforming strategies into the high impact result. So let's take a overview that we are looking at an electronics brand that invested significantly in marketing but didn't get the expected ROI. This case reflects a common challenge that's spending a lot on the campaigns but not connecting with the right channels or the audience. So some of the challenges faced by this brand was inefficient targeting. So they were spending lot of money on the marketing campaigns, but they are failed to engage the customers, the right customers, I would say, low conversion rates, low interactions. So this was one of the problems. The next problem that without clear KPIs or dashboard, they could not analyze which channels or messages they were performing. They were not able to identify that what was working and what was not working. And there is a high customer acquisition cost that they were not seeing growth in the sales and lack of personalization. They were using the generic messaging that were not resonating with the audience, no segmentation or the tailored communication. This is where the turning point where most businesses realize that data is just not about collection, it is about interpretation and action. So they had data, but they were not leveraging it for the insight. So let's break down how electronics brand turned a challenge into a global success using a structured data-driven strategy. So this strategy is exactly the same which I have described you in the process earlier. Each step they took aligned with the key phases of the analytics journey. The first one is the data collection. They gathered data from multiple sources, social media, email campaigns, website analytics, and the CRM. So this gave them a 360-degree view of the customer's behaviors, preferences, and interaction. Then they did the customer segmentation with analytics. They grouped the customers based upon the demographic, chase history, online behavior, engagement levels. And as a result, they have identified the high value segments and focused marketing efforts on the right audience. The third step they took is the predictive analytics. They use machine learning models to forecast the customer responses to the campaigns and estimated the customer life cycle wins. So now they were not reacting, they were predicting the outcome. The next step, as they knew, okay, what the customers are going to behave, tailored the marketing by creating the personalized email campaigns, customized content, and this drastically improved the engagement and the click-through rates. And the last and the important step is dashboard and KPIs. So they were monitoring every single campaign so they can make the adjustments, and it brought transparency and speed to the decision with using the right tools and techniques and acting on the data is very, very crucial. So let me share some of the results they got after implementing this. So after implementing a data-driven approach, the electronics brand saw a dramatic shift in outcomes. This slide shows the real-time impact that they have gotten. So the first one was the increase in the engagement. As I told you, they were using the personalized marketing efforts. Now customers were able to resonate more, leading to higher clicks, higher responses, higher interaction. The conversion rates got improved because they were using the targeting campaigns. So they were not just focusing on the impressions. So they were reaching out to the right people at the right time, which were converting into the customers. The customer acquisition cost got reduced because they have to spend less time now. After implementing a data driven approach, the electronics brand saw a dramatic shift in outcomes. This slide shows the real time impact that they have gotten. So, the first one was the increase in the engagement. As I told you, they were using the personalized marketing efforts. Now, customers were able to resonate more, leading to higher clicks, higher responses, higher interaction. The conversion rates got improved because they were using the targeting campaigns. So they were not just focusing on the impressions. So they were reaching out to the right people at the right time, which were converting into the customers. The customer acquisition cost got reduced because they have to spend less time now, and basically they were not using the broader campaigns. They were using very, very niche strategies. And as a result of these, the ROI was improved. Every single rupee or dollar which was spent on the system were actually able to make an impact and maximizing the result. this has overall increased the customer satisfaction by understanding what the customers were feeling, and which improved the loyalty and the satisfaction. So let's take another example from marketing to operations. So this time we looked at a retail chain that was struggling with internal inefficiencies and customer satisfaction issues. So some of the key challenges they were facing was inventory issues. So they were frequent stockouts. That means the product were not available when they needed them, or they were overstocked because which was leading to higher holding costs for them. As a result, lost very less sales, frustrated customers because what they wanted was not there, and operational cost was high. The second thing was the manual processes, and system felt very disconnected because of the slow things down. So this was actually eating all the profit margins and causing the delay in the operations. And as a result, inconsistent service across the locations and struggle to meet evolving customer demand. So there were overall the poor satisfaction which this retail chain was facing. And they have implemented the same process which we talked about. And this is how, from integration to prediction, every single step was designed to eliminate the inefficiencies and boost performance. So the first step was data collection. Combined the data from the POS systems, CRM systems, IoT devices, sensors in the stores, and collected and created a centralized data warehouse for the seamless access. So this eliminated the silos and gave a unified view of the business. The second step was the analytics. So what we have understood all from the data, we have analyzed it based upon the sales, the customer preferences, and the inventory turnovers. So as a result, we have identified the patterns which were slow moving products, or the peak purchase times, or the preferred store locations. So these insights actually helped us to create the smarter decisions. The third step, once we have analyzed which inventory to be stocked at which time, so we have fine tuned the inventory management by aligning the stock levels with the actual demand. So this actually helped us in removing the delivery delays, order errors, and streamline the overall supply chain. This next step is the predictive analytics. For the retail brand, we have used the machine learning to forecast product demand by location and season. Again, this prevented the overstocking and the stockouts by adjusting the inventory proactively. And the very important step about the performance marketing, that means real-time dashboards to track the KPIs, inventory level, customer satisfaction, and sales. And also created the automated alerts for anomalies so that we can have the continuous improvement and immediate resolution. So this solution isn't just the tech implementation. It was a complete shift of the mindset from reactive operations to a proactive data first decision making. So let's now look at how these changes has impact the retail store. So now this resulted in creating a smarter, more agile business for the brand. So the first is reduction in the cost. Supply chain has actually reduced the unnecessary inventory, and automated systems helped minimize the manual processes and reduce the labor costs. So overall operational spend decreased significantly as the customer were able to find the products when they needed the most, and the products were in stock. So it actually enhanced the satisfaction level of the customer. Faster service and more personalized in-house experience, which resulted in the positive reviews. The product availability because of the predictive analytics. So the products were stocked at the right time when it is needed, and which reduce the unavailability or missed sales opportunity. So these were few results as we have implemented the data first approach. So this case clearly shows the operational efficiencies and the customer experience go hand in hand when powered by data. So data based KPIs don't just show you what's wrong, they help you fix it. So now you might be wondering that okay, we know the process now, but how to improve it? So let's look at the engine behind the transformations, the tools and technologies that you need to make it work. The first one, for the data collection, you can use any ETL tools. Databricks is in very high demand right now. Talent, Python, Snowflake, Kafka. You can use these technologies to gather the data and integrate data from multiple sources, for example, CRM, IoT, website, POS system into one unified pipeline. For data storage, you can use any cloud platform, Azure, Google, or AWS. You can also use the Delta Lake, Snowflakes, Amazon Redshift. So you can use the databases in order to store your data. So these platforms serve as a backbone for the centralized data storage, and seamlessly you can query and you can scale. The third is the data analytics and visualization. For this, you can use Power BI, which is very, very popular, Looker, Tableau. You can also go with the open source tools which are available in the market. So these BI tools transform the raw data into dashboards and reports, helping leaders to track the KPIs in the real time and make fast and confident decisions. For predictive analytics and machine learning, you can use Azure Machine Learning, RapidMiner. So these tools help to build predictive models, for example, churn prediction, customer segmentation, or forecasting, demand forecasting, right? So these help you in order to optimize the processes. For the process optimization, you can use automation anywhere. So this reduces the manual errors and improve the workflow efficiencies, especially in case of the finance, HR, or supply chain. So this was about the data, how we can use KPIs backed with data and improve our business operations. And with this, I am very excited to introduce Puneet. He is the co-founder and chief planning officer at Complere Infosystem. So Puneet brings a wealth of experience in data engineering, analytics, and cloud solutions, and he has led successful projects across multiple industries. So his deep expertise is in building the scalable data platforms and driving business uh, digital transformation for the organization. So I really want to welcome him and Adam in the switch. Hello, Puneet.
Thank you so much for this warm welcome, Isha.
Yeah. All right. So we will be having some questions that I know you have implemented a lot of dashboards, data pipelines. So I will be very excited to certain challenges which businesses are facing when they are trying to convert data into the actionable insights.
Okay. So mostly the data actually resides in different ERPs, different CRM systems, and it is spread across the organization. Basically, business sees a challenge in consolidating all of this data and see a overall picture of the business. Basically, analyzing what is their revenue that they are getting and what is the margins they have in between, many and then segregating at the customer level, or maybe like identifying the key KPIs which they can track in order to understand the overall business as an entity. So that's the major challenge businesses are facing these days. So we actually help them in building these KPIs and bringing it to the live onto the dashboard so that they can make decisions on top of it. They can set up a specific on ground team in order to monitor them, in order to see how the business is progressing.
Absolutely, you have made it a point. I totally agree with you because identifying what needs to be measured is more important then how it is to be measured. So once we step into that area, that okay, what we need to measure, and I think with this webinar everyone get a little bit understanding of what needs to be measured for each business function. And then we can always start from the generic ones and then break it down into our customized things. Okay, let's have an analytics KPI around this thing, let's bring the data into this thing. So that can happen for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
So in your opinion, like, what do you think, how important is it to get the real time data in the decision making process?
So obviously, so nowadays, like everything, everyone wants things to be done in a real time. Those days are gone when we have to wait for the wait for the batches to run, and then looking at the KPIs, which is one day or sometimes in a 1 month folder. That actually adds very.
That is very exciting to know. I remember one of the instance that came to me, and I really want to share it. That one of the school director, he reached out to me that they were creating the reporting, but as he gets the reporting, the results of the reporting, it is already late. And he cannot make any decision based upon that because the time has already passed. If he would have taken the decision, then there is no use. So that was one of the concerns, and I suggested him to have a real-time reporting, and actually that has, helped.
But even for enterprises, the enterprises have this leverage that they are big, they are big, and they can make their basically customers like understood, like this is taking so much time to bring this kind of analytics to you. But nowadays startups are coming up with the real time analytics, and then this challenge is coming to the enterprises that okay, if that startup can do, why not an enterprise can build the real time reporting and provide the visualizations or provide the analytics to the end users. Those users could be a business users or could be end customers. Like these, like nowadays, this is also a challenge for a big enterprises because they have slow moving processes, but now they have to move on to the real time analytics.
Yep, exactly. And lot of new things are coming over there. Yeah. And many products are being launching that are storing directly, the data is being captured and being utilized. So that is also a lot of products people are creating to give the time insights.
Right. Right. Those days are gone when we have to wait for the batch to complete and the next batch will start, which will bring the data to the downstream systems, and then another batch will refresh the reporting. So those things are like legacy nowadays. So as soon as the event is happening, the data is streaming into the dashboards. So these things is really basically helpful for the businesses.
So what are the common mistakes that businesses are making when they're setting up the KPI? Part of you have already answered it, that okay, they don't know what to actually set up, right? But what else?
Yeah, sometimes sometimes just to build the dashboard or just to come up with an APIs, we miss very simple things. So and sometimes like we build lot of stuff which is might not be needed. Start simple, and we should see that if those KPIs are actionable. So if those KPIs are just a number and we cannot take any action on it, we should avoid keeping them on the analytics or on the dashboard, because that is just creating another, we can say, visualization to look and understand, because it is also difficult to understand those KPIs and see how those KPIs are impacting. So I would say that in order to make the things simple and think like an actionable things, like let's say if you are saying that the revenue this should be growing from the previous year on the same time slot. For example, try to compare it with the previous year revenue. Try to come up with the projected things or the target-based things or goal-based things. Instead of just seeing to the numbers and drilling down the reports and identifying the information in the report should be basically a simple static KPIs which is being showing the information on which we can take actions. So I think those KPIs are really very simple, and those KPIs are very helpful to the business.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So you are being involved in lot of technology tools. So what do you recommend that which tools and technologies we should use in order to so the businesses can generate the revenue on the KPIs?
So if we see that there is a cloud and there are a lot of cloud pipelines we are building to move data from different systems that were consolidated place. But nowadays, platforms such as Databricks provides a lot of flexibility and provides all the tools to the management or to the analytics team or to the so, like it provides a complete infrastructure which is very integrated, which is open source, and can be leveraged in a manner that can basically act as a single solution in order to implement the data pipelines, reporting platforms, analytics, machine learning. So I would suggest like have a consolidated system where you can have the complete flexibility of running the pipelines, monitoring it, doing the validation on the data, moving the data from one place to the another place, having it visualized, having the capability to do the analytics, having the capability to basically query in terms of in a natural language processing nowadays. So this is really helpful, and I think having a different system for doing a different stuff that is also getting legacy nowadays. So having a consolidated system will be add a value to basically provide analytics or having a consolidated system.
I think this is the concept of the Databricks, a unified platform for everything, be it reporting, be it machine learning, be it engineering, be it storing the data. So everything, people don't have to leave the platform. Everything is available on the one page. Yeah. Yes. And that's actually good. All right. So, a last question to you. We build the dashboards for the KPI, and this is what we are being sharing the knowledge on that we should build it. But most of the people don't trust the KPI. That is also like, okay, I'm not sure this is right. How to build the trust with the KPIs? Can you please help with that?
So, like when we are building, so definitely we have to get a sign off on those KPIs. So that's the one step. So that will give a confidence on that particular KPI that at that time when it was delivered, it was perfect. It was matching with the expectations of the business. But over a period of time, there could be a chances that the data got corrupt, or maybe there's some of the lines you might be missing, some of the orders you might be missing. So these things can happen. So having a kind of a validation process in between, which will basically test the accuracy of the data, like at the raw level, and also test the completeness of the data. So having those check in place will give the confidence on the reporting. So otherwise, if we don't have that, otherwise it's just a guesswork again, or making decisions on the wrong number. So in order to have the right decisions, in order to have trust on the KPIs on dashboard, so we regularly need to have a process which automatically on a daily basis or maybe on a set frequency validates our data and show us in some kind of a report again in some kind of an analytics how the data quality is improving or maybe decreasing or maybe where we need to focus more in terms of the quality on the underlying data.
So that's it. Data validation is very important. So we need to frequently validate the data if it is giving, because otherwise whole strategy will be wrong.
Yeah, there's no point of having or putting so much efforts in building or coming up with the KPI if we do not trust it. So having a trust on it can save us a lot of time. We can basically commit to certain things by understanding those KPIs. And how we can do that, how we can build that trust by creating a kind of a check in data and validating those basically and measuring the quality of data on a regular.
It's amazing. Thank you so much, Puneet, for sharing your perspective and sharing your insight. This is really a very, very nice discussion. All right, so I will be taking up the questions for them. So if anyone has any questions, so please free to ask, and we are here to answer those. So some of I just want to ask that is anyone here currently using the KPIs to track their performances? What's working and what's not working? If anyone wants to share your experiences, so I will be very, very thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. Is if you have any question about that, how we can include, how we can build the KPIs, we can help you with the consultancy as well as the implementation, because we want to do together. So for deeper discussions and for if you need any personalized help, please feel free to reach out to us. So our email is info@complereinfosystem.com, or you can reach out to us via phone as well. Thank you so much for joining in today's webinar, and we will be really having the next series of it. Thank you.